Hey everybody, it is the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. Matt Michaels here with Sin City Steve and Simon Street. And unfortunately, DJ Impact is still on the quest to find the white fuzzy slippers. We do not know exactly where he is at this time, but we do understand that apparently all these Iranian riots started because of him trying to find the slippers. So very controversial, apparently, white fuzzy slippers,
Who knew?
right?
I think also too, didn't he send us a line and say that he found a couple of clues and leads, but it was leading into I think this club called the Pink Ladies Meow.
Wow.
Damn.
I don't know.
Who
I
knew?
mean, he might have sent you that message, but I don't think we got the message.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he was trying to get me to come help him, but I don't go that route.
Well, the route we do go is the four-way stop, so let's jump right in. Steve, what do you got going on this past week?
Quite a bit, actually. Let's just see what we can do. John Moxley is your new AEW World Champion again after defeating Bryan Danielson in the finals of the Tournament of Champions. Moxley won when Danielson passed out to the rear naked choke. Such a good match. The match itself was solid. And what's more, no blood. There you go, Michaels. That's 2 shows in a row that neither of these guys have bled. I hope you're pleased.
Well, I might be pleased with that, but wait till what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it. Elsewhere, the Acclaimed are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions after defeating Swerve in Our Glory. Yeah, I really would have preferred this to have happened without any kind of interference or shenanigans or bullshit. But nonetheless, after Daddy Ass hits a Fameasser, pick up the 1, 2, 3 to the delight of everybody in the audience. It's good to see that they did go ahead and pull the trigger on these guys. I do somewhat wish that they would have done it at All Out. This match wasn't as good as the All Out match, but it accomplished exactly what it needed to do. And then, my third bullet point for this, Saraya. Saraya made her appearance at Dynamite Grand Slam on Wednesday after obviously being forced into retirement back in 2018 due to injury. She showed up after the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW Women's title. Toni Storm obviously retained against Athena, Serena Deeb, and Britt Baker. Baker actually ate the pin in this match. I thought that was pretty interesting. And she had her nose exploded by Athena. So, of course,
So
yeah,
we
it
didn't
created
need
the bloody
we
Brit
didn't need the
visuals
blood.
again.
Yeah, we didn't need the blood in the main event because we got it halfway through the show.
Yeah, exactly. Hard way at that. But it does bear saying Saraya got one hell of a pop from the crowd, and they actually had dueling camera shots between her and Britt, so that's definitely happening. So
There we go. Okay, Silent Street, what do you got going on?
Well, a lot of my stuff is based on Monday Night Raw, and oh my goodness, Raw was popping hot. And let me tell you, Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley for the United States title was a great match. There was a couple of cool moments in there, which I really appreciate, such as Seth Rollins trying to hit the curb stump, and Lashley's neck was as stiff as a board and would not go through. Moments like that are cool because it not only highlights, signature moves, but also you get to see the prowess of people and what their attributes are. And it showed Lashley it ain't finna happen. However, Lashley holding on to that lock. Man, the crazy part was at the end or towards the end, whenever he had that lock on her and he had basically rolled back off the turnbuckle. They ended up landing on top of the ref. I thought that was a funny part as well. The match overall was just really, really good. I mean, from start to finish, of course, interference toward the end from, yours truly, Mr. 420, Riddle, kind of coming in, causing a little bit of distraction. You're still your United States champion, Bobby Lashley, and rightfully so. But great match, really great match. Even puts a lot of prestige on the title, having a competitor like Seth Rollins go for that title. Also, too, we called it last week, Kevin Owens' theory. Oh, my gosh. did not disappoint. I thought it was great. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I've ever heard someone yell in a match saying, "Who's your daddy? I'm your daddy. Who's your daddy? I'm your daddy." Well, towards the end, somebody who was like a father to Theory, Gargano comes out with another distraction, and causes KO to pull up the victory. A great match. I mean, I'm telling you right now, like I called it last week, Theory's getting there. Last but not least, and I'll definitely say it, man, that number one contenders match for the NXT Championship, JD McDonough with Tyler Bates, was straight fire. It was really, really good. These two really knew each other very, very well. I enjoyed it from start to finish. A couple of high moments, or good moments in there, such as with the clothesline, I think it was Lariat. And I think that, one was down and then JD goes up and hits him square in the face. Or sorry, Tyler Bates hits him square in the face. That was a good one. Also, too, toward the end, they're both on the top ring apron, and Tyler's about to hit him with the Tyler driver. Got a huge, horrible headbutt from JD. Hit with the Superfly, then the Devil Within, 1, 2, 3. And it looks like that is going to be Breakker versus him. But then Dragunov comes through, and I was like, shit. So I don't know if we're smelling a three-way. I highly doubt it. I hope they don't go that direction, but if they do, I'm cool with it. But it looks like it's going to be Breakker, JD McDonough, and then whoever that is, looks like you already got a contender in Dragunov. So that was pretty much kind of what was happening in my highlights of this week.
Agree absolutely with KO and Theory. That was wonderful. Asuka being the babysitter for Lily was quite precious. Miz TV with Dexter cutting the ring open was a nice little touch there. God damn, what is Miz going to do to get away from this guy? Frazier versus Axiom, the second match out of the three. Been two pretty good matches, so we'll see what comes of the third and what happens to these guys afterwards. Cora Jade and Wendy Chu pulled off a really nice match, showing why Wendy Chu is definitely the person you want to work with on NXT. Roxanne put in a nice promo about how now she's a dark, evil bitch because of her match last week, and Cora Jade's going to feel the pain. Chase U beat Mello and Trick, which was nice to see them win something. Braun versus Otis. Holy shit, we got a Vader bomb, and Otis is fucking power bombed by Braun. Holy fuck. Two big hosses going at it. Nothing better than to see a little action like that on SmackDown. SmackDown did some huge ratings, so very interesting when you have two big pieces of meat like that just going at it in the middle of the ring. But that was the highlights. What about the Too Sweet for the week? Simon Street, what do you got?
Well, definitely my Too Sweet for the week is definitely going to be, basically SmackDown, the beginning part. I mean, how sweet is that? The return of the Tribal Chief. I was surprised you didn't talk about it. None of y'all gentlemen talked about it in your four-way stop, but I had to use one segment for it. And let me tell you, wow, sheer delight, especially there in Salt Lake City. I used to live in Salt Lake City, and let me tell you, there is an island presence in Salt Lake City. They might say that Las Vegas might be one of the I think it's like the fourth island, fifth island, but there's a huge presence in Salt Lake City. And let me tell you, man, it was great seeing all of them together. Zayn popping and jumping in the background. One thing that got me a little bit goosebumps, because I love family affairs, is when the Tribal Chief yells, "Solo, the elders may have sent you, but you report to me." Now, I like that phrase because that phrase is very, very interesting. Who the hell is the goddamn elders? Could it be Sifa? Who knows? I mean, you saw them like a couple years ago, right? Or who knows, right? It could be somebody. We don't know who it is. The spirit. I don't know. It could be anybody, right? Who knows?
It's Rikishi. It's Safa.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. That's why I'm wondering who is it? No. But I say all that. I say all that because it's cool, because it shows the obvious lineage and everything, and obviously the take your shirt off situation. That was pretty damn on funny. To the amusement, I thought, okay, man, they're gonna get Zayn, and then they say, here's another shirt. So, the whole thing is interesting. That's building up and everything. So, I mean, to me, that was just my too sweet for the week. I mean, it's so good. I don't even need one. It's just sweet.
I will echo that. Too sweet for the week. I'll echo first JD McDonough, Tyler Bate. That was a great match. And then Dragunov showing up. That just worked beautifully. But the Bloodline promo, Sammy getting the honorary Ooze shirt when you thought that he was about to get his ass handed to him. Paul Heyman's reactions of looking terribly concerned about what was about to happen to Sammy just sold it to just set that whole thing up. But then you also had Jay, and Jay's tension with Sammy is incredible. I think that will eventually lead to whatever they do with Sammy getting out of there, whether it is tagging with KO or something like that, or Jay goes solo when those guys become faces and they want to keep one Oos as a heel. Jay's the perfect heel. And then that attack backstage that Solo did on Madcap and Ricochet when Sammy was being confronted by them, again, setting up that whole sense of pride and family, and Sammy's part of this. And then the match to end the show, man. I never thought that those Irish boys would start really coming off good, and damn, looking good as a tag team. So it was nice to see that. You've got new faces in Sheamus and Holland and Butch. Like, who the fuck would have thought that just a few weeks ago? So it's looking good, and that was some great work by the Bloodline. Steve, what do you got?
All right, so Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Yes, I'm starting with them. They put on one hell of a lights out match to close out Rampage. Unfortunately, as is always the case with Rampage, no one watched it. So do yourself a favor, find a clip, find the match. It's probably on YouTube, but go check it out. Both guys, yeah, they did it right. They closed out the show. They closed out all 4 hours of tapings at Arthur Ashe, and they blew it out of the water. Great work by both of those guys. Moxley and Danielson, exactly as advertised. Obviously, you knew that these two guys were going to beat the shit out of each other. I do really wish that they would have not had so many camera cuts to MJF during the match. But as far as in-ring stuff, these guys absolutely brought it. And I mean, what a dueling headstand strike fest. Okay. All right. That works. Also, Rey Fenix, Jungle Boy, they put on a hell of a match that had absolutely no build whatsoever, but it did exactly what it needed to do. That was the theme of this show. This show was just full of those moments where they did what they needed to do. Jungle Boy picked up the much needed win, but this match was something that could have main evented virtually any weekly TV show. And then last but not least, the great fucking Muta. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That was really cool visual to see. I mean, after Sting and Darby Allin defeated the House of Black and what will be Buddy Matthews' last AEW appearance as well, Muta came to Sting's aid, and the bitter two rivals, they stood face to face once more. It was a really cool visual, like I mentioned, and I'm glad that they could finally share a US TV telecast one more time, as this is Muta's last year in the ring. And they've said that the two will be teaming for Muta's final show in Japan, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Will be Sting's final match?
We'll see if that ever happens, right? And that brings us to this week's WTF What the Fuck. I will start right there with the appearance by fucking Muta and his gray-ass motherfucking beard under his mask. Barely walks. The guy fucking could have... I mean, how can you be scared if you guys are in your fucking late 20s or early 30s about two guys whose combined age is 120 fucking 3? So,
horrible.
yeah, great visual, but what the fuck? It made no sense. Much of AEW this week made no sense, including these two big things. One, Chris Jericho does not need a world championship. What the fuck is going on with that? Ring of Honor, no buildup, nothing, no buildup at all. And Cesaro, who everyone cried how he didn't get the respect in WWE and the attention needed. Oh my God, he got the ROH belt. This is great. 3 weeks? 3 fucking weeks, I think. 4 maybe? That's it. And no fucking one TV title defense, maybe, if that. Just fucking awful. Goddamn awful. At least have a fucking story if you're going to build up to something like that. But nope, Jericho wanted the belt, so he got it. Great. Move on. But even worse, Mox over Bryan Danielson. You can say what you want about the match being good. The fucking ending was horrific. The reason that you fucking tuned in is to see Bryan win this belt finally. And here's a guy who can carry your company. Mox is now a 3-time champion who brings no fucking ratings. And they lost viewership this week. So, you know, and you could tell by the end, that crowd, there was no pop at all.
Nope.
So, and that was another one. No story or build up, and you could have had it really fucking build up. But, you know, we're going to rush and we're going to put the belt. We're exactly where we were 3 weeks ago with Mox being the champion. So, yeah. Fucking what the fuck. All right, Steve.
All right. Well, I will pick up exactly where you left off. Chris Jericho is your new Ring of Honor World Champion. Yes, that Chris Jericho. Why in the world would you take the title off of Claudio after virtually no time whatsoever? Yes, the match itself was good. There were a couple of timing issues and things that could be chalked up to being dizzy from the giant swing, whatever. But outside of those things, very solid match. And I will go on to say this. The absolute only way that this title change makes any fucking sense is if they are getting an ROH TV deal finally, and they want Jericho to carry the banner in the same way that he did when AEW first rolled out its TV. If that's the case, I'll retract it. But until that happens, what the fuck? Speaking of champions, the best AEW could do for their secondary champion in their entire promotion was to throw him into a random tag match in the middle of a show with no build. Wardlow and Samoa Joe versus Tony Nese and Josh Woods had potential to be a decent match. Instead, it was a 2-minute fucking shit fest that was just kind of there. What? It really feels like they're absolutely wasting Wardlow, and it makes me sick. The dude could be a fucking megastar. Tony, don't fuck this up any more than you already have. Speaking of fucking things up, FTR, arguably the best tag team in the fucking world. And what do? They got geeked in a promo against the Ass Boys. What? Are you shitting me? I mean, seriously, they didn't even wrestle. 4 hours of wrestling that they taped. 4 hours. And TK thought the best use of FTR was in a backstage promo segment with the Ass Boys where they came off looking like a bunch of fucking losers? What the fuck?
You know, and he's got to watch out because we all know Hunter does know tag team wrestling very well.
Yep.
So you want to lose those guys. Keep it up, TK, you idiot. All right, Street.
So pretty much my WTF for the week is going to be a couple of things. I mean, more of what the F in the beginning reaction, but then aha. And that is Solo Sikoa being forced to relinquish the North American title on NXT. At first, I was like, this is some bullshit. You're not even going to get a match out because we knew he was going to SmackDown. We get that. But I thought they would have got more. But then a great epiphany. This is a smart way to do it off of a technicality, the way it ended. You know, HBK basically said that way. Thought it was great and said, basically, if you didn't know, well, Solo Sikoa, wherever you go, SmackDown, Raw, you do a great thing. So that first was the what the F. Second what the F was Liv Morgan and Lacey Evans. What the F, because my what the F this week is Rome being like, what the F? And then afterwards, I'm like, So what that is, Liv Morgan actually looks like she could not totally get her ass beat by Ronda Rousey after that match that she had with Liv Morgan. We're getting better. And it seemed like the crowd actually in Salt Lake City must really love Liv Morgan because it's been a good couple of months since people have been behind her. And that match really wasn't that much to really think about, but afterwards, kind of she started displaying some of it. So again, what the F? I was proven wrong. Okay. We'll see what's going to happen in the following weeks with both of these. And that's pretty much all I have because you guys already mentioned all the best what the F's.
Yeah. And, it's interesting how much Salt Lake is getting a shout out from you today, man. You got stock in Salt Lake?
Well, I do have some property options I'm considering.
All right. Well, that's something to look forward to. And this is also stuff to look forward to. Go straight to you, Steve, with what you're looking out for this week.
So I really, really want to know what they're going to do with Brody King now that Malachi and Buddy are gone. Yeah, fuck it. I mean, put him into a tag team with Miro. Fuck it. There's another guy that they haven't done anything with. It's somewhat of a tie into the last segment, but seriously, like I really want to know what they're going to do with these guys because if they don't do anything with them, then they're just wasting talent, and it's ridiculous at this point. On the flip side, I really am hoping that they make me look forward to this Jon Moxley title defense versus Hangman Page in Cincinnati on October the 18th. I really want to look forward to it. I really do. It's Hangman Page, though.
And it's Mox's hometown.
Mox's hometown.
Which we know has been, you win in your hometown. So
yeah. So there's that. Elsewhere, I am very curious as to the reaction that MJF is going to get in arenas outside of the state of New York, especially continuing to refer to himself as the devil and those people cheering him as devil worshippers. Very interesting wording that they chose to use on that stuff. So, yeah.
All right. So, Stu, what are you looking out for?
I'm looking out for a couple things. First and foremost, as we saw in NXT, the debut of Oro Mensah. He had a pretty good showing against, Mr. Waller. Really good. Even though toward the end he picked up the pin because of the distraction, which seems to be a trend this week. From the poke in the eye that went too far, Apollo Crews. But still, other than that, I mean, just really, really good. Really happy to see this new talent and what's going to happen moving forward. I think it's going to be great. Also, too, in NXT as well, we did see a match with Singa. Although I mentioned Singa because there's been a lot of reports kind of trickling out in the ethernets that Mahan will be leaving main roster to go down to NXT, possibly partnering up with Singa. Now, the reason why I mentioned that a little bit, I'm looking forward to that, is we're seeing a lot of tag team buildup, men's tag team particularly, in NXT. I mean, you have, even like last week, you had Idris and Malik versus the Dyad. You have those good tag teams that are coming up. And then you have possibly Singa and Mahan, those two big dudes. I mean, there's a couple of tag teams that are stacking up. And as you mentioned earlier, Triple H knows tag team. He knows that's something a lot of us have wanted. And so I'm looking forward to what NXT is going to start presenting. Usually when NXT does really well and they're cooking really good, that recipe seems to trickle down to the main roster gumbo pot.
Very true. Very true. I am looking forward to hopefully Braun versus JD McDonough versus Dragunov at Halloween Havoc. That could be fucking great. You're absolutely right. Liv Morgan got me hyped for her Extreme Rules match with Ronda. Doing the kendo stick work and the senton on Lacey. It was great to see. Drew and Cross. It's going to be a strap match. Let it go, Drew. Let it go, Drew. Oh, yeah. Looking out for the potential return of LA Knight as we're seeing more tensions there. Looking forward to Buddy Murphy being gone from AEW and him getting back with his girl over in WWE, and him and Rhea can see. There's how you do it. You get Dominic to become a man because him and Rhea, little three-way Dom, mommy and daddy and Dommy. Oh yeah, there you go. But most look that I'm looking forward to is Julia Hart breaking her fucking head, because she took the worst fucking bump you could take. When you have a person coming off the ropes, he didn't hit too hard against her, but whatever fucking reason, she decided to jump with the bump and fucking projected herself to the point where you see her basically not even the shoulders, just below the shoulder blades, hit the table, and that head just fucking hits the ground, and that's pure concrete. And god damn it, man, this is what you guys need to do. Tony Khan, you need to get a fucking school open as soon as possible and get your fucking talent training every goddamn day. So, or else something major is going to happen. We've been saying this for a while. Someone is going to get paralyzed or die in their ring, and that's not going to be good. So, that was just such a pain in the ass to see. You can be so safe, and yet you do little shit like that. So, as we wrap up, though, let's hear what our best. All right, Simon Street, best in show this week.
Man, best in show, hands down, is Raw. I'm not even going to really detail in it from start to finish yet again. And it's crazy for me to say this within a 2-month period. Raw, I think twice I voted them as best in show, which just goes to show you all the changes that's happening right now. We're seeing consistency. We're seeing even in their lowest moments were their best moments a year ago. Man, just stuff keeps getting better. And it's scary, y'all. For 3 whole hours of Raw, I watch about 3/4 of it without wanting to leave.
Sure.
Hands down. There you go.
All right, Sin City, what do you got?
AEW Dynamite. Grand Slam was awesome. Actually, both shows of Grand Slam, Dynamite and Rampage, were actually very, very good this week. Definitely had the feel of a Clash of the Champions or a Saturday night's main event. They improved on the staging. They had multiple different camera angles. They tried some things, some of which worked, some didn't. Shout outs to the dudes that would find the best opportunity ever in the history of mankind to hoist their NWO championship belts. That was that camera angle. As soon as they went to it, these dudes were putting up the title belts and just blocking the camera angle. It was absolutely hilarious at one point. Elsewhere, I mean, they continue to try to do things as far as shooting the show differently. And it's a work in progress, to say the least, with Rampage. But at this point, dude, honestly, if they're not going to give ROH its own dedicated show, just convert Rampage to ROH at this point.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I'm surprised, though, you didn't give a shout out to one of the best things on the show, and that was the fan who was cosplaying as Jim Cornette. Yeah, go back if you're watching the Jungle Boy match. You can clearly see he's got this bright, I think, yellow suit on, and pretty good Jim Cornette. Pretty good. SmackDown, hands down for me, was where it was at this week. From beginning to end. Here's the one difference, and I gotta say, and I think this is, Simon, while you're enjoying Raw a little bit better, and this is why I think AEW is struggling to find its feet. Now, we're not talking the wrestling. We're talking about coherent stories from week to week and stuff that you start investing into people. And I think that's the biggest difference right now, is that the shit show that happened after All Out really fucking threw so many wrenches into everything that they wanted to do. So, with WWE, the difference is now without the old man there, it's almost as if someone remembers what the fuck to do. Like, didn't just the next week just forget, oh, that who are you? So it's good to see coherency and actually investing into stories. And hopefully when DJ Impact gets back, he'll catch us up on the last 10 weeks of Impact Wrestling.
Jordan Grace racking up male body parts.
Well, I would call wins in male body part. It just sounds in this day and age.
It does sound bad, but I'm just saying she's plopping dudes on their back.
Or that too. But just a lot of stuff going on. And Impact Wrestling is heading to Las Vegas October 21st and 22nd. And then FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling, running their Mecca show on the 23rd, that Sunday. And boy, that's loaded. Right now, you're going to see guys like Chris Masters, Carlito, Bateman, I think, is on the card. Jesus, TJP, I believe, is announced. 1% with filthy Tom Lawler. There are a lot of different avenues being represented here, so it's going to be very interesting to catch. So get your tickets for the Mecca as well as Impact Wrestling, and of course you can find the Mecca on Fight TV on the 23rd, and I believe Impact Wrestling, I think the Friday is a pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. So
I also want to add one quick thing. My apologies. Las Vegas, we have some other promotions here as well, other than the great FSW. We also have Versus Pro Wrestling Studios. They're actually going to be having an event. They're actually returning into a new venue, which is going to be on West Oakey Boulevard. And that's going to be on October 9th, Sunday, October 9th. So just want to give a shout out to Versus Pro Wrestling Studios, making the big move, and they are back and they are ready.
There you go. All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And remember, listen to the podcast version of the show. If you're watching right now, you can catch us do 3 Count here in just a little bit. But if you're listening to the podcast, catch 3 Count tomorrow. And again, hopefully DJ Impact finds a slipper soon, so we can have a little more coherency to this whole thing. But until then, everyone, have a great week and happy wrestling to you all.